and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers and all you divine lovers out there. So I have this short video announcement for all of you. I have this wonderful surprise that I was recently shown in the level of what I provide through the sacred life force attunement and the advancement of our consciousness through that life force integration work. So recently I've shared with you that I have put out a special, very integrated course called the TANTRIKA Life Force Mastery. It is a 5.5 hours long video course for all of those of you, and today I have a special surprise. So for all those of you who've already bought the course, who've already entered into this course, and those of you who still will, you will get an additional video with a more advanced breath work that I already shared there, because a part of this sacred attunement through the Tantrika Life Force course is the cultivation and the mastery of what I'm shown as the sacred creation breath, where you embrace both the void, the dark womb of creation, and the light of creation. And this unified breath technique, you learn to potentialize your own life force, and through the primordial life force that comes from the dark womb, the Kundalini Shakti energy flow, and then spiritualize it through the light aspect of creation, and then ripple it back up into you in a circling toroidal field motion. So I teach you this technique that's already very advanced, but as I was going through my own mastery and I was doing these attainments myself, I was shown, it was a memory recollection through my soul lineage and ancestry, and I was asking and I was shown that this is basically the sacred breath work of it's almost like a direct lineage of consciousness upliftment that comes from the Vegan mysticism tradition. If you've been reading the book called Prism of Lyra, you have many fractions of our galactic history and stories that, you know, these are aspects of us that we're developing different types of awareness in the consciousness of the whole. So the type of Vegan mysticism is very much related to this artwork of refined spirituality. It was a very inward focused path. It's almost like a very tradition based on developing your horizontal mastery, your vertical mastery, and then how this can be expanded out into the horizontal experience of creation. So the Vegan mysticism is very royal in its lineage, and although this is not the only pathway to consider, because the trinity of our expression comes through these three first primaries, which I'm shown as the Lyran, the Vegan, and then Pleiadian consciousness, that represent this trinity of how consciousness then traveled through many multiples of streams of light. So I teach about this in my Cosmic Beloved course, about these primaries and how we experience them as essences, right? So as I was doing some meditation and doing my breath work, all of a sudden I attuned to this consciousness of the spiraling vortex energy and how this is done through your brain and your inner head area. So it's like the merging of your sun and moon chakras. But the thing with this is, why I'm not sharing this publicly with everyone, is because there needs to be very careful tendency to not do that when you're not ready, because the thing is, without preparation, with souls who haven't done physical integration, this direct stream of consciousness upliftment can come when you're not ready for it, which can cause, you know, for a lot of people who are already awakening their life force prematurely without conscious integration on each layer that it travels through of the human experience that needs to be integrated, people can become very fanatical, very much not balanced and disoriented even. And if we're not doing that through conscious application, and when I do these things, I'm always shown these things in appropriate divine timing, then you can cause a falling out, you know. Sometimes people can have a profound memory unlocking, And if they're not grounded in this reality, this can again work against them in a way because it's not balanced and integrated. So it needs to be approached through wholeness, through understanding of the body, through understanding of a little bit of the theory behind us and who we are, and consciousness integration. So if you wish to know more, you can get my Cosmic Beloved course, because I explain these archetypes, these stellar origins, and how we're applying them here through our conscious integration and our own beloved journey. And then I also have a more advanced course that's called Multidimensional Ascension, which presents ascension from very different layered perspectives. Because our ascension is not a linear process, and it's not happening just here on Earth. It's a multi-spheric experience. In a more advanced consciousness outlook, you would appear to be this multidimensional being, and you would feel yourself as such, and you would feel different parts of you that are being integrated throughout the cosmos. So why and how I was shown this breath, and I was asking myself, okay, how do I share this? Because it's a very awesome technique, because through this technique you almost create a direct line towards this higher celestial consciousness attunement you can have. But people need to work on these, you know, that's why people advance in their consciousness like with this gradual process, and a lot of them do just basic, you know, meditation techniques, which are about centering yourself, bringing more peace, more balance. Because if you're not balanced, if you're not able even to achieve peace, if you're constantly scattering your energy, then you won't be able to hold this focus. This intense integration work has so much potentiality, but if the focus is not being able to, you know, you're not able to hold it, then again, nothing would come out of it. So you'd say, well, this breath work doesn't happen, and this technique does not happen. Why are you sharing this with us, Kelowna? And it's the way you do it that it needs to feel right. It needs to be right. So when it's right, it means you're ready and you're able to hold and work with that amount of light and integration in your soul awareness and your physical embodiment, which means that you needed to brought forth a certain level of your soul integration already for you to uplift to this new level. What I was shown is that these mystics, and I belong to this lineage as well, and that's why a lot of my work that I share is very spiritual in nature. It's very transcendental, and it's consciousness based. It's how mastering our life force affects our external reality, and this does belong to the Vegan mysticism tradition. And I was shown that this type of practice is used when a being is readying themselves for a physical ascension, because a part of this physical ascension is the rewiring of your whole thinking mechanism, because you need to go from linear to spiraling. So when you use this technique, you're actually readying yourself for physical ascension and the integration of the spiral rather than this linear fashion of how most of the brain in the human capacity is how they were designed and programmed was able to hold, right? This linear perspective. So when you use this advanced work, that's why first this cultivation of the, you know, the basic creation breath needs to be mastered, and then you can progress towards that. You're gonna see there's this greater levels of consciousness that will open doorways to more multidimensional ways of thinking, being, expressing creatively, and all of that. So it's a very simple technique, and yet it's very powerful. When I do it, I can feel an immense intensity here that's building up in the inner eye, in the inner vision. The whole amount of practice is to hold it here, and you're working with the spiral in your brain. It has to be done right. So I actually I'm going to record this practice as a light activation and a special preparation where I show you the exact guidance. So I'm going to guide you into this practice very simply. I will send this video to all those of you who have already purchased the Tantrika Life Force Mastery course. Those of you who will, you're already going to get it as a part of it. So 2 videos, come on, for the price of 1, and it's actually such a huge opportunity because I made this a very minimum energy exchange to the level of work that's in it. And now, you know, I'm guided to put this extra input in it because I'm showing it's very important. It's a part of ourselves getting ready to physically shift in this new spiraling creatrix. So souls who are ready, what you will notice as a consequence of this, like I said, increased psychic ability and consciousness attunement, a more telepathic stream of receiving and emitting, so being more in tune to the harmonic convergence that is emerging of these timelines. This breath work and this attunement, this cultivation work is going to help you to merge those timelines. So you work with the spiraling frequency that's actually, it's not erasing your memory, but what it's doing is it's unifying it. So everything you've held in your brain, because the brain still holds a lot of information, but that information, when we don't need it anymore, can become a burden, and it's like an excess energy you no longer need to carry, but your brain still kind of holds the capacity of carrying so much residual memory that's no longer needed for you. It's all written in higher soul transcriptions anyway. So we have this ability to not hold on to it, but move into higher streams of consciousness when we do this practice. Okay, what else I want to say is that this opens a doorway to your memory banks, little memory banks, not being erased, but like expanded. So it's like linear, it's like information that came with linear packages, like linear packets of light, is now, it's not like being erased, but rewritten with this higher light technology, which is the highest technology, as you know, is spirit technology. It's not the machines that we build. It's nothing like that. The highest spiritually evolved beings moved to the capacity of their higher heart, higher brain, merged as one, creating this triangulation essence, and they were able to contain their consciousness, not so limited to this physical form expression. So this is a part of the work that takes place in the physical, but in order to transcend it and move to greater levels of our consciousness. If you're guided, like I said, this is a part of the Tantrika Life Course. This was an additional, because the course was created like 2 weeks ago, and this is an additional guidance that came forth. I was asking how to share it, because I wasn't guided at all to share it with everyone, because of the attentiveness to not understand, and without the platform of understanding, this will not create any benefit for you. So Spirit showed me we'll put it together with the Tantrika practice, because it's a part of one thing anyway. So those of you who've bought it already will get sent in your inbox this additional video. For those of you who will, you're already going to receive it in one package. So I will share more down below. All the links are down below for all of you who are interested. This is a more advanced work. Like I said, it belongs to the lineage of the Vegan tradition, the Vegan mystics who were exploring the inner realms to to the abyss, to the down and below, and you know, all the lineages that were carried forth through different star systems, but basically have their origin there. And I am a member of this mystic tradition, because most of the light activations and the work I share with you in that regards comes from that consciousness, direct descent of that consciousness, of course, coming through my physical embodiment at this time. So it's super awesome. I can't wait to share this video with you, those of you who are going to tune into my Tantrika course. It's such a payoff, like I said, because you're now going to get 2 videos. It's going to be practically over 6 hours of work for just the amount it's shared. All the info is down below, how you can receive that course. But I advise you always to come prepared, to meet up with this as a sacred knowledge that we can only use it when we're ready for it, and the soul will show you the way. So when the soul guidance is there, like with me, things happen. When people are ready to receive, I receive that as in a huge package of light. And as I was tuning into how to share it, that's how it came forth. So at this time being, because the energy shifts are so intense, we have a new wave of galactic proportions that entered our planet. A lot of you felt this. There was even some videos made about the unknown definition of this energy. People are talking about what it is, but I want to remind you again that it's not so important for us to analyze where the energy is from, how it's coming, you know, it's not about that. All energy is always of source. All energies work together in unison. The White Brotherhood of Light also works in unison. All the knowledge is a part of one true creative force, of the life force that propels all life forward and gives us these gifts of spirit. So those of you who are called, like I said, this intense technique is a direct, almost like a direct elevator lift to that higher consciousness, because we talk a lot about in the new age of these abilities, right? They're just going to happen and come. But what we're doing, again, I keep repeating this, we're ascending the human vessels. A part of you, most of you who are volunteer souls, you already carry lineages of higher, more advanced consciousness that you're now experiencing here. And that consciousness is always with you. But what we're doing is we're not escaping from this planet, we're not escaping from these bodies, but we're bringing that, the ancestral lineage of these higher planes of high understandings and this mystical knowledge, we're bringing it forth here to this sacred embodiment. As you know, Lyra is explained as the great voyagers who went out and they explored in the Vegan mysticism in the Prism of Lyra is explained as those who went more into the inner realms, but the Pleiadian consciousness is a merge of that, and a lot of the Pleiadian consciousness went out forth and it influenced different streams of light and how they were carried forward. And through many different constellations, as you know, light travels and energy travels through it. But beyond light, there is sound. It's the sacred sound that basically created everything, even the light. It's created everything we know now in creation, in this beautiful vast existence. And the more we do these attunements and light activations and exercises, we bring that into physical form and into crystallization of our matter that's becoming higher and more refined, more vibrant with these higher ascended states of being. So I hope you like this announcement. I'm super excited because I finally get an answer how to share this, because I'm not happy when I don't know how to share. I need to always unpack my guidance, and then when I unpack it and I have a full understanding of it and why it's there, why it's coming through at this time, then I need to kind of put it out and share it in a proper way. So I always wait and meditate a bit. Otherwise it's too hasty and it's not integrated. So I like to do things in conscious integration. But because of this new wave of energy coming through and a lot of sparked up solar activity at this time, I think a lot of you will be guided to spend more inner time with yourself, with your embodiment, go within, to practice more of that. So I think this is a perfect time to get the Tantrika course and do your own inner work of integration. That's what I'm doing at this time. I'm taking a little time off. So for a while I'm going to keep it on the down low, but I wanted to share this with you because this is a new expansion and a new addition to what I already created within the Tantrika Life Force Mastery course. So that's it for now. I will explain more in that activation, and a part of the Tantrika Life Course Mastery is also a special light activation attunement that's around 44 minutes long, and it's the cultivation of that sacred breath. So you feel in any way, like I always say, you don't have the funds to take the full course, which I truly highly recommend, because you do need to have an understanding with theory and practice merged together. So vertical, horizontal meeting as one. But if you don't have the funds, and or else where you're already a practitioner of Kriya, you practitioner any kind of that way, you have a high understanding, just get the activation. All my activations have the same price because they're put on a certain server that provides me to hold my material there. So, you know, half, or I don't know how few percentages goes to the server directly. So it's always an automatic download, and people usually love my light activations. So yeah, that's it for now. There will be more updates when I come out of this down low phase of integration. I hope you will have fun with your own integration of what we're going through at this time. Don't try to analyze it because it's not going to be able to be mentally unpackaged and understood. It's a very feeling based shift, and it's almost like a new genesis. It's like a new birth. And we've worked, a lot of us have worked to come here for many years. And it feels like this is our synthesis, this is our time. And because we've achieved the synthesis on these lower levels, now our spirit is showing us the way to propel our consciousness forward, so that we're going to have more advanced abilities in these bodies. And our bodies need a certain preparation time to be able to hold that amount of integration, so we can move now to these higher states of being. Because if you come to this and approach this unawareingly, you don't have a real understanding, because it's not something, it happens and you're unpacking all your DNA and abilities and all at once. It's not happening like this. It's a gradual process in our human body. So the approach that I hold is very sacred. It has a very humble approach to everything and every part of our integration, and the synthesis of all of different stellar components to our galactic DNA, which we're all a part of in our wholeness. So the family of light is one, and we're going through immense changes, and I greet you in this space. I wish you a beautiful time of your own soul integration. So if you don't see me for a while, I'm just going down low, but I'm still there. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video or visiting my page, and the links are down below and you can see how you can get the course. And there's more explanation of what the course is about if you've missed that video. A few videos back, there's a few videos where I mentioned about the course called the Tantrika Life Force Mastery. So that's it for today. As always, so much love, wisdom, and power. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon again in our shared sacred space in union. Bye-bye. Anyway guys, I'm super excited because this video will have, again, a little bit of the theory of how everything was created. I'm going to share all the perspectives of Lyran, Vegan, and Pleiadian, and what it's all about. So the mastery of the genetics, the light that travels through the genetics of the humanoid type of embodiment, and the processing, the feeling level. That's all part of Divine Trinity. I'm also going to tell you some of the progression of consciousness and how it's unfolding, and then I'm going to teach you this sacred and very yet simple, the proportional of the Galactic Pulse of Light type of breathwork mastery, awareness and embodiment. So I hope as many of you that are ready and prepared will get this course, and I'll see you soon. Okay? Yeah.